Hey everyone, today I have a BB-20GS GoldenSabre for review, and this is a special edition version of the Jungle Cat mold. There have already been a handful of other releases for this particular mold, but this is one that is, I'm almost 100% certain, specific to this year in the Chinese calendar. 2022 is the year of the tiger. Fun fact about that, I just happened to notice that the head of the 5.2 toys, probably all their toy lines, I'm not exactly sure what his title is, but certainly Beastbox and Megabox, is Stryker Wang. If you're familiar with these figures, you know who that dude is. He is the guy. Anyways, I happen to notice on Twitter, his birthday is actually pretty close to mine. We're actually only a couple weeks apart in age, so this is kind of belated. I'm sure he never looks at toy reviews, especially, from Western dudes like myself, but if in any way, shape, or form he happened to see this, happy belated birthday, buddy. I don't know what the Chinese character says on the box here, but the box charger is itself a special edition container, and man, it's beautiful. It's got some great tiger glyph, Chinese character type graphics on it, whatever. Yeah, very fitting for this character. Beautiful all around. So yeah, I guess I'll start with the box itself, or the package rather. This is a little bit unusual for typical Beastbox packaging. They usually have a cellophane window, and this one has the same type of paper as, kind of a satin finish. Yeah, very tastefully done, beautiful. Love the artwork on it. Let's get into this, see what we got inside. I'll just show you this real quick. So you see what comes with this, and I'll just say GoldenSabre it's a special edition figure, but it's pretty readily available. You can find this one at, your standard online toy retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, The Chosen Prime, all that kind of thing. You'll find it on eBay, AliExpress, or whatever. Not hard to find. It's going to cost you a little bit more than a regular figure, but if you're into this, I would say it's definitely worth it. It does come with a collector coin here, which is really nice. It even has a plastic display container with it, so you don't ding it up or whatever. And it is actual metal. Let's see if I can get this damn thing open here. Beautiful coin. And this is not a piece of junk. It's very nice. Got some real weight to it. On the back, you've got Beastbox 5.2 Toys 2022. Yeah, beautiful artwork of the tiger here in front. And to be honest with you, it's a great little add-on. I don't know how I would personally display something like this. So for me, unfortunately, it just sits in the box. Inside the box, you've got your standard bunch. Instructions. Nice thing about 5.2 Toys products, their transformation instructions for Beastbox, Megabox are almost always easy to follow. You got a little collector card here. See what we say about GoldenSabre. Some explorer claims that he witnessed the presence of this piece in Iron Mountain Ridge. However, his word is not very convincing. So I guess they think the explorer might be a liar. So the lore they come up with these are, characters are sometimes kind of amusing. So impressions about the character. I love the color scheme on this. Very tastefully done. The gold plastic to me is spot on. It just looks beautiful. The combination with that and the white and the dark gray and these kind of light blue or almost cyan accents. It's just very tastefully done. And in my opinion, as far as my impression of the character, I think it's a pretty cool character design. I guess you could kind of say it's sort of like a Zoid, or at least I think a lot of people would kind of get that impression of it. And if you're not familiar, that was a line of like mechanized giant robot animals or something like that from the 90s. So moving on to articulation, I have to get this out there. I think this is probably one of the worst Beastbox molds that's been produced. It does not have much in the way of articulation. And given the complexity of the character design, I guess in my opinion, I would have thought they would have put more into it. I'll give you an example here. The neck doesn't move at all. You can't move the head. The legs barely move. You do have some articulation in the paws and things like that. And you can get this character into like a really aggressive, like an almost ready to pounce mode, which is cool. That looks great. But that's about all you can do with it. You can't get it in a squatting position. There's just not much you can do with it. It's either standing up straight or standing up in a crouched ready to pounce position. And that's about all you get. The legs are on ball joints, so you do have some flexibility to kind of turn them out, give a little bit more of an aggressive stance, that kind of thing. But honestly, that's about it. The tail doesn't have a whole lot of posability in it, and it's just on this basic hinge. So what ends up happening is it doesn't stay in place in very many positions. You can kind of have it sitting up like that, or at least on my version. And it doesn't want to stay there, or it's down between its legs, which is, for a cat, not a good look. So beyond that, I don't have a whole lot to say about this figure. So yeah, I guess I can just go ahead and get it transformed and show you what that looks like.
This is terrible. Oh, God.
Okay, so obviously you watched a heavily edited version of me transforming this cube, and that was probably for the better. I went through this by memory. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, the box mode is just a pile of crap. It's absolutely terrible. Well, to put it this way, Beastboxes are sort of a puzzle toy. There's a certain level of satisfaction in transforming it from one mode to the other. You know, having pieces snap into place, parts that logically fit together, that sort of thing. This one offers very few cues about where pieces are supposed to go. Like with the front legs, you're just supposed to sort of know how those legs are supposed to sit and how the hind legs need to be positioned to form the side of the box. You know, there are very few connecting parts. I mean, right here, these pieces don't come very well. There's some small tabs. I don't know how well you can see that here at the top where the front and back legs are supposed to connect. Little tabs on the sides here, those little slot in type tabs or whatever, I don't know. And that's almost all you get. Other than that, it's just knowing like where to position the legs and whatnot. You know, and it's cool that the engineers try different things when they design a new character. In this case, they use sliders for the legs, or the front and back legs, and I'm just not feeling that. It's not a good design. And so basically just, yeah, the transformation process, I don't get that satisfaction that I do with pretty much all of my other Beastbox figures. They're almost all very obvious in how they're supposed to be transformed. This one just does not have that appeal at all. And yeah, something else I could say about that, I guess. When I first got into Beastboxes, my initial thinking was I'd likely find that most, if not all, quadrupedal animals would just have their legs fold up on the side, tuck their heads under their chest, and as I got into the figures, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that their engineers put some serious thought and effort into making some interesting transformations, and not just, you know, for the sake of having a complex transformation, but something that fits organically with that character. You know, I hate to say it, but this is the product of my initial assumption of how this line would go. It's just, as far as Beastboxes go, the transformation process is very generic, I guess.
Now it's time to give GoldenSabre a box grade. Just a quick refresh, this is my rating system to sum up the pros and cons of a figure, consisting of 6 categories with a maximum of 5 points each. 30 points are possible. In relative terms, 0 points would be a total failure, 15 points is average, and a perfect score is a flawless product execution. GoldenSabre looks great. The gold plastic, dark gray, and light blue accents are really befitting of a special release, and definitely one of the nicest looking cat molds. Angular panels and mechanical parts really define the look of this robotic fiend line. This gets 4 out of 5. Certain Beastboxes are more like action figures, and with articulated wings, shoulder pods, and a movable jaw, this mold definitely falls in that range. Its one-of-a-kind box charger and collector coin also give it a little bit of extra something, and that makes it worth the price. This gets 4 out of 5. Like I mentioned before, minimal connection points and loosely positioned parts make transformation deeply unsatisfying. The engineering of its head and tail tucking underneath and legs that fold on the sides are as generic and uninspired as you can get. This gets 1 out of 5. Articulation is bad. The jaw barely opens, the neck and head can't move at all, the tail flops around on a basic hinge, and the leg joints offer few points of articulation. This gets 1 out of 5. Construction is fine. There are a whole lot of ball joints and screw parts, but that's not unusual for this line. Ultimately, it doesn't feel cheap or flimsy, but certainly not exceptional. This gets 3 out of 5. This mold really isn't fun to transform, and it's minimally posable, so I personally don't get much out of fiddling around with it. I really like the way it looks, but at the end of the day, I just don't pick it up very often. This gets 1 out of 5. That brings the box grade total to 14 out of 30. Generally speaking, I'd probably rate the Jungle Cat mold as below average, but GoldenSabre's premium look and nice add-ons give it a little something extra. So yeah, I didn't give this figure very high marks, but here's the thing. 52 Toys is a very young company, and their Beastbox and Megabox lines alone are massive. As a growing company, surely with limited resources, they can't always knock them out of the park with figure designs. The cat mold looks great, but isn't engineered great, and that's the key point. It's just not fun to fiddle around with. Anyway, I am a sucker for special editions with a little extra something to them, and that was definitely the case with this figure. So on a related note, I am really digging the Terminus series, so when 52 Toys finally puts this mold out to pasture, I'll buy that one too. If you collect Beastbox Jungle Cats or have a different point of view on this mold, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.